Hi everyone, so today we are going to learn how to make bone broth. What I do when I'm making bone broth is I get some really good bones. They could be chicken feet, you could use pieces of your chicken, the bony parts as well, and then you want to get some good beef bones. The beef bones you want to get, you can get them from your local butcher or go to a farm store and get them. But the bones should have like the marrow inside of it. So that's what I'm going to use here. You want to use about 3 pounds to start. And then you want to get the other ingredients that you're going to put in the pot to add flavor to this broth. So today we are going to use some celery. I'm going to chop up some garlic, onions. I'm going to leave the skin on, chop that up. And I'm going to use about 2 carrots, and you want to scrub them clean. And then we're going to chop these up as well. And for me, usually I throw in some bay leaf as well. And usually if I have like scraps of other vegetables, like I have some broccoli and cauliflower stems that I'm going to use, I usually throw them in my freezer and then add them to when I'm doing like broth, especially vegetable broth that I'm making from scratch. I'll use those. The next thing is pimento seed, which is optional. You don't have to use it, but I usually like to add about 4 seeds in there. Thyme for flavor, so definitely if you have fresh thyme, you can use fresh thyme. If not, the thyme leaves will work just as well. Turmeric, I love using this because this also gives my food color, but it's really good for inflammation, so that's a go-to. I use some kosher salt just for flavor, so again, you can use that, as well as black pepper. So whenever you're using turmeric, always just add some black pepper to it. Again, flavor is what we want to give this broth. And to help break the bones down, I'm going to use about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. So I'm using this one, apple cider vinegar. It just helps to break the bones down and get that cartilage in the pot going as you're cooking. So we're going to then top it off with water. All right, you get everything into the pot, pour the water, cover the broth completely, which we're going to do in a little bit. And then we are going to slowly cook this on the stove for about anywhere from 8 to 10 hours. Sometimes, depending on if you're doing chicken broth, it could take less. It could take about 4 to 6. But when you're doing beef bones, you want to cook them longer. So anywhere from 8 to 10 hours we'll do on a slow simmer throughout the day. And just, let it do its thing. And then later we'll go back and I'll show you what you do next. All right, so I added my seasoning, the turmeric, salt, black pepper, pimento seed, garlic, onions, everything is in this pot. Now I'm gonna add the water. Okay, so you want to cover everything in the pot, and then you're going to turn the stove on, put a cover on it with the cover slightly covering the pot completely, and then we're going to slowly cook this for the rest of the day. All right, guys, it's been about almost 8 hours, and the bone broth is completely done. I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right, that's the bone broth. Everything is cooked down. Even the marrow that was inside this bone is completely gone. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna strain this bone broth. Gonna get a measuring cup, a strainer, and a ladle, and we're gonna strain out. If I don't want to get any small little pieces on it, I can also use the cheesecloth in my strainer. So here is this delicious looking bone broth. All right, I can bottle these up, put them in my refrigerator. If I'm gonna use them, say a week from now, I put them in the freezer. So usually about 3 to 4 days, they'll last in your refrigerator if you keep them in small containers. And when you make a big pot like this, I recommend freezing them in smaller containers and then use them throughout the week or the month that you need it. Usually it can last about 2 to 3 months in the freezer. All right, they are going to get thicker when you let them sit overnight. So enjoy.